Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. We're still marching on with the Lazuli Bunting. And what we did on the last go around here is we did the rump area and we thinned out the tail. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I want to detail the tail and finish the bottom of the tail. So we're going to finalize the tail this time. I'm going to show you the steps as we go, okay? And I would also want to mention to you that I have several different owls available as far as kits go, if anybody needs any. Not that I did all the videos on them. The only owl that I have out there right now is the great horned owl. But if somebody wants like a Screech Owl, I think I have a hawk owl, I have a Saw-Whet Owl. I've probably got another one in there too. If anybody's looking for that, I have that as well. I also did a Hummingbird kit that I have, and I finally found that and put it together. So if anybody's interested in doing a Hummingbird, I got that kit too. It's not in my, for those who have my catalog, it has to be updated. And these are other kits that I'm adding to my repertoire of kits available. Now, down the road, I may be doing a video on those that I just mentioned, but we'll have to see how that goes, okay? So no promises. I know people have asked me to do different videos on different birds, and if I don't have a video on it, I'll try to give you sources to go after to get that done, okay? That will give you good instructions as well as me. There are good books out there, so I will definitely try to steer you in the right direction so you can achieve that much anyway, okay? So I can't say I got all of them because there's a lot. You figure I did this probably, maybe 30, 40 years straight and never repeated anything, and maybe more than that. And so there's a lot of birds I've done, and I have kits for some of them, and some of them I did like a frog, I did a turtle, I did a elk. There's different animals I've done too besides birds. And if somebody wants a kit, I probably can put it together, because I've had classes in this before. So hang in there. I may get around to doing an animal one of these days, but for now, I just want to get you finalizing the tail for the bunting, okay? So, and for those who maybe, this is the bunting. It's a pretty bird and very attractive, and that's why I picked it. So if you're interested, I do have kits on this one as well as on other videos that I've done. So, hey, give me a buzz, and if I can accommodate you, I'll try, and I can usually, even if you there's a bird you want, or if you have a pattern for something that you don't have the capabilities of getting it cut out or something like that, contact me. I will try to accommodate you and see where you want to go in your own direction. I'll try to help you out where I can, okay? So, and the other thing too is, if you like my videos, and if you would, I would ask you to subscribe to them and give me a thumbs up also. And if you can also have friends that may be interested in doing similar stuff that I have available, if you could pass that my word, that my channel's out there, I'd appreciate it. It really helps me in my count. So I would really appreciate that as well. So we are going to move on and finalize the bunting's tail. So I will show you that. So bear with me. All right. Now, on our pattern sheet, I have what's the name here? The underneath side of the tail marked out, but I'm going to show you how I come up with that so that you can duplicate exactly what I'm doing. Again, I wear my Optivisors. I really try to show you these. I have them with lights or magnifications, different magnifications. If you're looking for any of those, please contact me. I do have them, and they're not bad prices. Now, what happens on the top, which we already got our feathers in, and we thinned this out pretty good. You shouldn't have a lot of thickness on the edge here. They thin out all the way around, and I asked you to sand this by hand, or if you have a rotary sander, and I do sell them too if anybody's interested, and you can come in and sand them out real nice and get into all the nooks and crannies with that. They're very nice to have. So here's what happens. On the top feathers, the inside feather is the top one, and then everything is stacked on each other. On the underneath side, we have the outside feather is the top feather, and everything goes down to the middle feather. So let me just draw that center line in again. And I'm doing this by eye, but I pretty much can do that and be right on top. Now, for some of you can measure it, or you could come from this line, bring it around, and then carry it down. Now, all the activity was focused in on this center line originally, okay? So it's pretty much there. I tend to know that a little bit more than most because I've been doing it so long, so I don't even think about it. Now, the feather width is going to be maybe about 1/4 inch wide. So I'm going to, where this feather ends, see this outside one here? When it comes around, I'm going to draw a line just off of that burn of the feather in front of it and cut this right there. That little peak of pencil right there of lead that's showing is about my width. It's about 1/4 inch, but as it comes in, it narrows a little bit. So we start out about 1/4 inch wide up here, and then we'll come down like this, and it'll be a little bit less. Okay, and that's your first feather. And that's the outside on the underneath side, okay? Then I go to the next feather, and the feather in front of that, where it comes across, I mark a pencil line across there. That tells me that this feather is flying out here, and we're roughly, I would say a little bit more than the 1/16 in width in here. Then I'll go to the next feather in front and cut across that one, and that comes, well, let's go over this way here, and that's about a 1/16 off of this feather, and I'm going to slope that down. These are sort of paralleling each other and mimicking each other as far as what we're doing there. Now, we have, not counting this top one, 1, 2, 3, 4, in the same way this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that one, okay? So on here, I'm sorry, should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it should be 1, well, I count the outside one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5 will be the center one. Okay, so we brought that one around. Now this one right here, which is second to the top one on the top side, that's coming over, and that will come almost right onto the line, that center line, like this. It'll peek out just a little bit right here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is going to be the center one. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to come over here. Here's that feather that comes up, and I'm going to draw a line over on like a, I won't say a 45, but close to that. It peaks right out here. I'm going to take that and at least have a 1/4 of an inch wide, but it's going to be less as you come back here. So we pull that in like that. And they should look similar from one side to the other because we're trying to make everything symmetrical about that center line. So that's the first feather. Then we come to the second one, which is this one. And it's this edge right here that comes on an angle, like so. I don't know if you can see that well. That's kind of real tight in there. And that comes out right about here. And I want to be a 1/16 off of that line. So I come up here, swing in there, and I come down like that. Okay. Could have went out a little bit further, but that's okay. That'll work. Now I'll do the next one, which is right here. Is that right? Let's see, I got one. I got that one. Now I got to do this one. Yeah. Which is here. That's going to come off right here. Okay. That's 3. And then I have another one, which is right here. Come off of that one. Let's see. It's getting, let's see, I did, hang on. Let me make sure. Excuse me, grabbed the wrong one. It's this one. And this comes out here. It slides down, and it's 4. And then the last one is right here. That comes right down onto the middle. And this one right here is the top one. Okay, that gets exposed a little bit. Now we have all the feathers in. And what I'm going to ask you to do is get the burning unit, crank it up. I'm going to get one of my rests that I use for my micro grinder. And let me get my cord out of the way here. I'm going to lay this on here because it's easier, I feel, that I could rest it and then guide my line a little bit better. So I'm going to get right onto the onto the pencil line. And I'm going to burn that in right on up and follow my pencil line. That's one. Then I'm going to do the second one. Take your time. Make sure you're following your line. Okay, that's 2. Here comes 3. Here's 4. Okay. And here's that one that rides along the center of the bird. Turns. Okay. I got that side done. Now I'm going to do this side. So I start back here. I take my time. Just track it along your pencil line. Do the next one. Okay. You got to really steady yourself here. Trying to hold this out in midair sometimes it gets a little testy. And then I have the one down in the center, and it just flips in like that. Okay? Now, remember those lines we were crisscrossing? I'm going to try to burn from here to here. So let me get rid of that rest. I'm going to show you. I'm coming right in on this point, right here, and going on an angle to meet this one right there. So it's the outside one to the outside one. Then I'm doing the next one, and this gets a little tricky. It's the second one in, but it's the inside of the second one. Did that one. Then I'm going to come in on the third one and crisscross that and come right there. Then I'll do the next one. And you don't want to get lost in these. You think you can. There. Then there's one more, which is right there. Okay. I got everything on that side. So there's an angle going from the top of this one down to this one, and each one progressing down. So we'll do that on this one. You have this corner right here of this feather. This is the top feather. It comes over and it wants to join up with the top feather on the bottom. And you want to just get a little bit of a burn so that it's leading from one side to the other. Now I'm going to do it the next one. Now notice I'm doing it down here. So I start there, and I want to come across to the second one right here. Let's see if I got that. Yeah. And then the third one right here. And the fourth one right there. And then we got the last one right there. Okay. So now we got them all crisscrossing each other. Now, we're pretty much done with the burning. Now we got to do the lifting. So I've been doing most of my work with a ruby flame, but you can do it with a diamond flame, or if you have a bullet shape, you can do it with that too. Let's see what I have available here. I think I have a bullet. I don't know how great they are. See, a lot of my bits, after you use them as long as I have and had classes and everything else, they sort of lose their edge. But this is the bullet that I have. But I have the diamond flames. I got the ruby flames. They really do a job. And when they're brand new, they're fantastic. So I'm going to come in here. Now, we lifted all these, remember? And I always said if you can put your fingernail in there and get a little flick, that's how high it is. It's not that high at all. Now, I'm going to come in and get the point, excuse me, right in here. And I'm going to run that right along the burn with my point, just like this. Okay. And I'm going in like an angle here. Then I'm going to do the next one the same way. And you could sort of run, if you did it right, it just undercuts it right at the burn. Okay. Right. And then the last one is just a little peeky-boo one that's the center one. So I clean that out a little bit. You don't want to clean it out so thin that you lose the center one. Okay. Now I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to do the other side. So I lay that right along the burn. Push down there a little bit. Just enough to get a little lift. Remember, we don't have to go like a hell in here. And I'll clean that edge out right there. And each one is just lifted just enough, okay? And if you were too thick on an end, here's another thing we want to do also that I have to mention to you. This feather, to make it look more realistic, I want to hollow this out right along here within the body of the feather. Same way this one. Just these two outside ones. And you want to do it like this. Okay, I'm going to get this bit and I'm going to stick it out so it sticks out a little bit more. Okay, like that. Now, I'm going to come in. You want to be careful. Get your thumb up here so things don't go wrapping around on you here. I'm going to hollow this out just a little bit. Just to make it concave right in here, because these feathers are cupping. Okay, and I'll do it right on up to the rump, but I want to do it nicely, so if you notice, I'm smoothing it out so it doesn't have a big dig in there. And I hope you can see that. It just has a little hollow, like a little swale in it. I'm going to do the same thing for this side, too. I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to hollow out the middle. Now, don't go crazy on me. We're just trying to get a little dish area in there. Now, if you're starting to come up with some real major league thicknesses here, I'm going to ask you to just thin that out on the edge like this. You still have it dished, but you're just lowering this outside edge a little bit. And if it still seems a little too thick, you can take it down a little bit more. You want to get it like a sort of thinned out so it's not real heavy. And if need be, you can come this way too a little bit, do the top side, but most of it's going to be on this side. Now I'll check this side. This ain't too bad, but we'll do a little bit clean up here too. Okay. And again, this is all dished, even though I'm cleaning it up. It's not that bad. Now that we have that all done, now we have to start detailing, okay? We got both the top relieved, stepping down, and it's concave on the underneath side because they're both have this arc. And we have it dished out on the outside ones only. And you are slightly dishing these in, but you're only getting the point in. That's what you're seeing. What we're going to do now is we're going to put the quills in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and put just a single line quill right in here. Then you'll see a little one here and here and here. Here and here. There'll be a little one here just peeking out. And there. Now, this should be right on the center line, okay, of the bird. Now, on this side, these are going to come right down the middle here, like this, and like this, okay? And then you'll have a little quill right in the middle here, because that's the center feather. And you will see the quill at that point. Now, I'm going to burn in the quills right now, so I will bring my cradle back into the picture. I'll lay this here, and I'll just come straight on, lay it right down the middle of the feather, okay, the center feather. Then I'll hit these a little like this, this, and this. And on this side, I got this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So that takes care of the quills. Now, we got 3 quills down that are showy down here. So we come to the outside feathers and we track that right on down. By having the rest, it doesn't have you bouncing around with all that, okay? So I'm trying to save you from getting in trouble by doing it airborne. And then you have a little bit of one right in the center, just like that. Now, we'll start on the top. And I'm going to do like half of one side, and I'll do half on the underneath side. But you're going to complete the whole thing. Now, remember how we were burning from the outside in because we were looking for a softer look? Down here, we're going to do it differently. We're going to burn from the inside out, okay? And this is a 45-degree angle. So if you were going to come in and you needed some guidance, you can put a 45 this way off the center quill and a 45 like that, okay? And I've done this so often I can do it almost blindfolded, but here we go. I'm going to go right up to the quill and I'm stroking, okay? And it's a different burn than what we had in the other areas there. Most of the burning that we've done on the wings and everything else were from the outside in. This one, we're doing it from the inside out. So I'm going all along the quill there, okay? Now, all these coming down, as long as you're staying right up to the quill here, is going to be in that 45-degree angle. So if you got this started, you could just follow those. So, and the idea is to keep your vein lines pretty close, okay? And you're just stroking in there, and you get into a rhythm. And that's what I do. And I keep on going right on down. And I keep the same depth, always have the same temperature, and it works out. My number is about 5.5 on my setting, but that can vary with each one, so you got to find out what works for you as far as numbers. You don't want to get too low on the numbers, or you don't get the detail, okay? So notice I'm not worrying about what's happening on the other side of the quill here. I'm just going right up to the quill. Look at that in a minute. Right now I'm trying to get everything on a 45-degree angle all the way on down. And I'm keeping these pretty tight. If you can follow me here, I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but I'm trying to get these pretty close to each other, you know? So there's no big gaps. If there were, I just keep on raking it through till I get all my area textured with some veining for the feathers, okay? So right on up to the rump. Then I'll come back this way. And it doesn't have to be like this rubber cradle I have. I have those available if anybody wants them. but you can almost use anything as a rest. Okay. Now, I'm going to get these in first, but I'm going to show you something here in a minute. I like the burn. I used to do a lot of flat art burning on gourds and wood, and I'll have to show you some of that sometime. Besides birds, you know, I do flat art work in watercolor, pen and ink, pastels, but I also do what's the name, acrylic painting, and I use the wood burning also as part of it. Now there is one side done. I'm going to ask you to go. Well, let me go back. Remember all these little quills I have in here? I'm going to come in here on a 45-degree angle. They're real tight, so watch where you're going there, so you don't go burning things you're not supposed to, and get the quills in there. Okay, I mean to get the veining in. I'm going to ask you to come in and do the 45 on the other side, but I'm going to let you do that, and you could do that after I get done. And you're going to be doing all of these on a 45 right on down, okay, like that, the whole thing. So whatever I done on this side, you're doing the same thing on that side, except you're going in this direction now. It's half the feather, okay? And make sure you're coming right across it. Now, I'm going to flip to the other side, but I'm going to do the same side that I burnt here on the underneath side, okay? So here we go. I'm doing a 45-degree angle again, and I just take it out to the end of the feather, and I stroke it through, okay? And it's repetition, and what I like to do a lot of times, I like to get music, or if I'm listening to something, you know, just if I got a lot of burning to do, I just get myself very relaxed and then start burning, you know, and you want to be consistent with the burn. You don't want to get heavy-handed with it, and you want to keep the direction, that 45-degree to the quill, and you don't want to put a lot of pressure on the wood. You're not trying to break the feathers, because they get really thin, you know, so make sure you're resting on something and you're not trying to snap the wood off. I've had some students that did that because they're thin, but I would like you to stay, not to put that much pressure, because most of the time, if you let the burner do the work. Now there's the outside one done, okay? Now I'm going to ask you to come this way, and we're going to burn towards the center here. So I'm going to come on a 45-degree angle, same angle as what we have over here. And that's the only thing going to be exposed, is just a portion of the feather, because it's the other one, this one here is laying on top of these. Or at least that's the illusion we're trying to get. So you can burn from the inside out, okay, just like I'm doing now. And we're not worrying about the softness of the feathers like we are for the primaries or the secondaries and so on. These here, I'm not that concerned. Okay, so I'm doing all of these right on up to the rump. And then I got the center feather to contend with right now. See, I have no quills other than that center one, in the same way here. So you're going to do this side exactly like this side. It's going to be a 45 this way and a 45 this way. Okay? And then all of these follow suit coming down in here. Now on these, you got to remember the center one is going to go out this direction, like this. And the other one is going to go like this when you're textured. And it's only a little bit at the end there. So I'm going to ask you to do this on your own. And I'm going to ask you to texture all the burning in this direction on a 45-degree angle, right on up. And then all of this on the outside here. Okay, and if it helps to put a pencil lines in there to guide you, you could do that too. And say way over here, we did this side, now we're 45 in this way. Now you do have little quills sticking out, so you need to do a little bit of burning this way, but mostly everything is going on a 45-degree like this. Okay, so I'm not trying to confuse you. It's just flip over. So if you could do this, and by the next video, all of this should be done here and this side as well, okay? And you'll have the tail completely detailed now. And then we'll move on and we'll do the mantle, or maybe, I don't know, no, I don't think we'll do the mantle right away. What we'll probably do is the breast. We'll do the breast next after we get the tail done, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this one and you got something out of this, but we're just detailing and finalizing the tail, okay? Both top and bottom feathers of the tail. So I hope you enjoyed this. And see you on the next video, and we'll keep on progressing. And we're getting close because pretty soon we'll get the breast done, then we'll get the mantle, and then the coverts, and then we'll get the eye in, and I'll show you how to do that. We'll do a little more detailing on the beak, and before you know it, we'll be painting. So hope you enjoyed what you have seen. And if you do, I would ask you again to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy the video. And if you could give me a thumbs up, that greatly helps me out too. And I hope you got something out of this time too as well. So I'll see you on the next video and we'll get this bunting flying. So you guys take care, have a good one, and I'll see you on the next video.